Miss Rachna Jain, Associate Professor, Department of English, Government PG College, Rajgarh, Alwar. Today in this video, I am going to tell you something about Browning, his short introduction, his contribution to English literature, his major works, and this poem, My Last Touches, is mentioned in the paper of English literature, paper first, unit A of BA part 3rd. This poem of Browning is the first part of my video lecture. This poem I will teach you in parts, and this is the first part of this poem. Today's topics of this video lecture are introduction to the poet Robert Browning, then his contribution to English literature, his major works, and finally about the poem My Last Touches. Browning was born on 7th May 1812 and he died 12 December 1889. He was an English poet and playwright whose mastery of the dramatic monologue made him one of the foremost Victorian poets. His poems are known for their irony, characterization, dark humor, social commentary, historical setting, and challenging vocabulary and syntax. Browning's early career began promisingly but collapsed. The long poem Pauline 1833 and Paracelsus 1835 received some acclaim, but in 1840 the difficult Sordello, which was seen as willfully obscure, brought his poetry into disrepute. His reputation took more than a decade to recover, during which time he moved away from Shelleyan forms of the early period and developed a more personal style. In 1846, Browning married the older poet Elizabeth Barrett and went to live with her in Italy. By the time of her death in 1861, he had published the crucial collection Men and Women. In 1855, the collection Dramatis Personae 1864, and the book-length epic poem The Ring and the Book 1868 to 1869 followed and made him a leading British poet. He continued to write, but his reputation today rests largely on the poetry he wrote in this middle period. Browning died in 1889 and he was regarded as a sage and philosopher poet who through his writing has made contributions to Victorian social and political discourse. Browning's greatest contribution to the poet of the world lies in his creation of dramatic monologues. Previously, we have seen other forms of poetry, but this is entirely a new form which has perhaps yet to find another writing other than Browning. We have in English poetry great narratives and descriptive poems and also great dramas. In narrative poems, we have often seen various characters talking one after the other, and also we have single character talking about his own individual sorrows and delights, or narrating some other event. But here is something entirely new. Here we have got characters in a poem, but with only one character is talking while the other characters are silent. But those who are silent are easily recognized in the poem. They do not talk, but by their movements they make it clear they are listening to the character that is talking. Hence, the poem is a monologue, that means the speech of one person, but it must be differentiated from a soliloquy, which is essentially a talk to one own self. But here the speech is addressed to other characters who are present but who do not talk. Last Ride Together and My Last Touches are the famous example of dramatic monologue. We may divide poet into two classes: poet for the time and poet for all time. Browning is a poet of later category. He is a poet of all time. He came at a time when the English literary world was filled up with the romantic aroma. He breathed the spirit of romantic age, and he developed an urge for freedom and beauty. From the Victorian spirit, he took the sense of reality. He could well combine in himself the spirit of two ages, the Romantic and the Victorian. His sense of reality gave him strength to curd the fantastic floods of imagination of romantics. Therefore, he peoples these poems with real and earthly characters. The Victorian spirit of inquiry brought him to the study of psychology. He took a deep interest in the study of mind. As such, his best poems deal with the study of mental processes. Devised in order to give expression to this psychological study, he devised a new form of poetry named dramatic monologue. In the elemental love for life make him a robust optimist. This optimism originates from two things. First, his deep faith in man. Second, his deep faith in God. He wants to accept the world boldly. He is alive to every appeal of nature. He does not take this world to be an illusion, but at the same time, he accepts the existence of another world. He says that our hope lies in the imperfection of man, in the imperfection of God. Man is suffering from indeficiency, and so he must try to remove that. But the ideal can never be reached on his earth. Therefore, life must be accepted, all her challenges must be embraced, but always with consciousness and faith that there is a life beyond this existence. This about optimism, this new creation of dramatic monologues, and a new type of prose poem are the contributions of Browning to English literature, which will make him immortal. We can divide his major works into three parts. First is his earlier poems. In this part, Pauline, Paracelsus, Sordello, dramatic lyrics, and other dramatic romances come. Second category is his dramas. In this, Stratford, King Victor, and King Charles, dramatic person, men and women, a soul's tragedy, Luria, and in a balcony. These are the dramas. I repeat the dramas again. Stratford, King Victor, King Charles, A Soul's Tragedy, Luria, and In a Balcony. Third category is his later poems, such as Dramatic Person, Men and Women, The Ring and the Book. The Ring and the Book contains some of his very best poems, such as My Last Duchess, Christina, The Laboratory, Meeting at Night, Parting at Morning, The Lost Mistress, The Last Ride Together, Rabbi Ben Ezra, Prospice, and 100 others. The poem My Last Duchess was first published in the year 1842 in Dramatic Lyrics 1842. It was later included in Dramatic Romances 86, and it is one of the best dramatic monologues of Robert Browning. In, in the first publication, it was entitled In Italy, and it was in the 1849 edition that the present title My Last Duchess was given to the poem. Browning is always interested in characters that have something abnormal about them. This lyric takes up the subject of jealousy without any love, cruelty of self-love, and the tyranny of possession in the personality of a widower, Duke of Ferrara, a typical representative of Italian Renaissance. The Duke is presented in this poem in the company of a messenger of the Count in the front of the portrait of his previous wife, the Duchess. The messenger remains a silent listener to the words of the Duke, but his presence is made known to the readers. The Duke narrates the messenger the story of his cold-blooded murder of his previous wife, and at the end makes an indirect demand of a rich dowry from his prospective father-in-law. Though the Duke reveals to the messenger the character of his previous wife, yet by the way of narration, he says, here is his own character. The poem thus is the touching revelation of the character of the Duchess and the faithful self-portrait of the Duke himself. It is a brief and the subtle self-delineation of Duke's character, yet the duality of interest is both convincing and faithful. In all probability, the speaker was Alfonso II, 5th Duke of Ferrara, born in 1553. His young wife, Lucrezia de Medici, died at the young age of 17. It was believed that she was poisoned. Later, he had an Austrian bride, niece of the Count of Tyrol. Innsbruck was the home of the second wife. Fra Pandolf and the Klaus Innsbruck are imaginary artists. The Duke seeks to impress on the messenger and on his master that his future wife has to exhibit a certain kind of behavior. He would not tolerate any rivals for the similes of the future wife. The new wife must concentrate all her attention and life on him alone. Browning has represented the Duchess as a pathetic, hard figure, rendered incapable by circumstances of giving expression to her talents and feelings. It has been suggested that this is based somewhat on the life that Elizabeth Barrett, wife of Browning, later Mrs. Browning, lived in a Wimpole Street. Her talents and passions were stifled by the tyranny of her father. So students, in this video, I have told you the short introduction of Browning, his contribution to English literature, his dramatic monologue, his sense of optimism, his works, the categories of the works, and something about the setting of the story of Last Duchess. In the second part of the video, I will tell you the summary of the video, the summary of the My Last Duchess. Thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.